Hi, Rachel and Drew. Thank you so much for sitting down and talking today. We are joined, of course, by Rachel, our fund development coordinator at Shalom Mountain, and Drew Cookson, who is one of our faithful friends. And this is another video in our series, just sort of introducing the folks who contribute to Faithful Friends, who make up the Faithful Friends community to the larger Shalom community. So, Drew, you have a very interesting Shalom story. I would love it if you would just begin by telling us how you found your way to the mountain.
Sure, I'd be happy to. I uh I first went to Shalom when I was less than 6 years old. I'm not sure exactly if it was 4 or 5, but I have an early memory of starting a fire in a field and that it got out of hand and I was chastised for being a little arson at Shalom Mountain. And Yeah, it was a blast. I can't tell you how many stories I have, just memories from that time of my life of very formative years and very formative memories, all shared with like really, really incredible people doing incredible work. I know I was there for weekends primarily, and the work weekends were really, really fun for, a kid that just wanted to get dirty, and we put together. I remember the pathway in the front. Me and Craig did that, and we came back a couple times, I believe, um, before I took a long hiatus from Shalom, and and it was one of the most important early memories that I had. I remember it being almost like a little Garden of Eden or a playground that I always looked forward to going back to when I was very small.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. And so then you came back to Shalom as an adult?
Yeah, I spent many years away, and I remember my mom was always saying you should go back, you should go back. There's a weekend, and she would send me the weekends, and I thought about it a few times. I came close a few times, and it never quite got to the point where I was able to go all the way back across the country for a weekend until this past year when I was finally called back at the right time and the right moment, and um returning was everything I hoped it would be. It was like seeing an old friend, but with a makeover.
Hmm.
I mean, there had been I there was major work that had been done since I had been there, and I was just blown away by again the people, the process, everything that the work's being done there. I moved energy myself in a lot of important ways, and it just felt very fitting and timely for me at that time in my life when I needed it, and it offered what it had. And yeah, I wanted to be a faithful friend right after. It just felt like the right place for my money to go, especially during a time when I was kind of trying to figure out who to trust or where to contribute or where to direct my efforts. And yeah, Shalom felt like a no-brainer to me because of just seeing the way the leaders facilitated, and the fact that they wouldn't be able to do those weekends without faithful friends. The idea that that work couldn't have been done if not for people contributing made me understand the need to contribute. And it's a really nice reminder actually to see the little charge every month, because it does remind me to keep on like continuing the work that I started. So it's a
Hmm.
nice little continuing continuing reminder to keep on healing.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. What in any and I think that the monthly contribution showing up as a reminder to just sort of stay on your path is so beautiful. Are there any other ways that being a faithful friend shows up in your life?
I mean, it's really just about being a supportive member of a community wherever you may be. And as a somebody who's thousands of miles away from Shalom Mountain, it's important for me to feel connected to that process, to that place, and to the people who are doing the work there, and to also bring that to as many people as I can here, and try to share, you know, the opportunity that Shalom offers, and hopefully, ideally, and someday learn to facilitate myself the types of
Mm,
work that's being done, because I think the world needs more healers like the leaders that Shalom employs, and I'm very grateful, and I believe strongly in what Shalom stands for. So it's,
mm.
yeah, an easy decision.
That's awesome, Drew. I am taking away from your story. So many folks refer to Shalom feeling like home, and I feel like that might hit different for you because of your such early childhood memories being foundational there. I think that's really awesome to get to hear how Shalom has showed up in your life in such an interesting and unique way. So thank you. And thank you for being a faithful friend.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it's so cool to hear you speak to these elements of like how I relate to faithful friends, right? As like this actually like a reminder of a community that you're part of and an opportunity to be a member of that community in a really impactful way. And that spiel that they give on Sunday, that's so true about it being a nonprofit, that our retreat costs actually don't cover everything, and that there are so many generous people that give, and then that provides tuition assistance for people who couldn't go otherwise, allows them to like repaint the place and like fix broken machinery that needs to be fixed in order to like keep the whole program running. So I just love the way you spoke to like this call to being part of community and the important work of it, wherever you're part of a community, right, is like to just show up and contribute to that. It's really beautiful.
Well, thank you for saying that, and it's my pleasure to share with you guys my story. I mean, if it can even help one more person be reminded about Shalom, or learn about Shalom, or be helped by Shalom, then by all means.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, both of you. It was lovely to talk and have this conversation about faithful friends. I so appreciate it. And to everybody who is watching, should you want to contribute to Faithful Friends, we will have a link somewhere around this video. I promise it will be easy to find that you can sign up and support. So thank you all. Have a wonderful evening.
Thanks so much, Drew and Alexis.
Thank you all.